Why do some men thrive under pressure while others crumble? The answer could change your life. So stay with me. We're going live.
No. We'll do it live.
This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
What's going on, guys? Damn, this week went by fast, didn't it? Like crazy fast, crazy fast. Guys, check out my mug. That bastard Ryan Stone. He's got, not only does he have like 17 books now, he's got really good merch. F that guy, man. F that guy. Anyways, if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer, and I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is that it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Now, most men struggle with staying on course when life throws obstacles in their path. They set big goals, but distractions, setbacks, and self-doubt knock them off track. We've got a beer club brother, man. Yesterday, he's going through some stuff, man. And he was like thinking about canceling his beer club membership, and he was like selling stuff, and he was like really reducing everything. And I was like, bro, what's going on, man? Like, I reached out to him, like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, like all these problems. It's like when it rains, it pours. And I'm like, dude, don't quit beer club, man. Like, get back in there. Get back in there. You need it more than ever now. And so he came back in there. But it's one of those things where he's got some setbacks, and we're not going to get into it today, but a lot of those setbacks that we have in life, especially when it's a situation where it rains, it pours, we're attracting that. We're attracting that into our lives by our thoughts and our actions. We'll talk about that in a different episode, but maybe you've been there too, right? Maybe you've been there, excited about a new purpose or a mission, only to feel your motivation fade when things get tough. You start questioning yourself, feeling stuck, and wondering if you ever have what it truly takes. Does that sound familiar? Well, today we're breaking down the secret weapon that separates men who achieve greatness from those who give up: emotional durability. And I'll show you exactly how to cultivate it, apply it to your life, and use it to become unstoppable in your mission. So stick around, because by the end of this live stream, you'll have the mindset shift you need to dominate your goals. All right. But before we get into it, let me just explain to you what we are doing today. We are wrapping up our study of Psychology Emotion, written by a great man, AJ Matthews. He wrote this book, the Psychology Emotion, which is a part of the Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence series. And if you are not familiar with that series, RP Thor, my good friend RP Thor, who's, fighting the good fight against brain cancer, he wrote an excellent book a couple of years ago called A Dominant Masculine Presence. And in that book, he laid out the seven skills of a dominant masculine presence. And they all start with the letter P, right? Like you have psychology, you have passion, you have physicality, stuff like that. Well, AJ wrote Psychology Emotion. Rafe Deantor, he wrote one called Power Frame Identity, which is an excellent book. If you guys are working on your mental frame, actually all three of these books are perfect for that. Right. But Power Frame Identity is the second book. And then I wrote the first book, which is Psychology Paradigm. Right. They always say that. Yeah. Power Frame Identity, Psychology Paradigm. That's mine. And then Psychology Emotions, AJ's. I have some updates on future books, because it's a whole series. Right. So Thor's book is done. It just needs to be formatted now, and he's going to add a couple things to it. So I talked to him and Glenn Lawrence last night. Glenn Lawrence has a book, and I think that's on presence. And that one's going to be, coming out. Glenn just needs to pull his head out of his butt and learn how to format things. he's got a, he's kind of a caveman. And so, technology's hard. It's hard, it's hard to do stuff like that. Anyway, so there's another book. So Glenn Lawrence has a book coming out, and I guess Donovan Sharp has a book that's coming out too. So keep an eye out for that. But if you just go on Amazon and do a search for the essential skills of a masculine presence, you can collect all the books. Before we get into AJ's book today, and we're going over chapter 10, which is all about emotional durability and life purpose. Before we get into that, do be sure to like, subscribe, and hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. Every Friday is Frame Friday. Okay. We talk about mental frame. We talk about mindset. We talk about setting goals and how to like align your mind and your subconscious with those goals so that you can actually achieve them, that kind of stuff. And then, guys, if you were watching live right now and you're finding value in any of this, please drop a comment. And if you have any questions, try to send that as a super chat. I know y'all have the money. Y'all sending $500 super chats to these 304s. Okay. Like, I'm not expecting that, but a couple of ducats or two helps keep the lights on. All right. So the first concept here is emotional durability as the foundation for life purpose. So think about this for a minute, right? Emotional durability allows a man to stay committed to his mission despite challenges. Like what we were talking about in the beginning, how many times have you set a goal and you didn't achieve that goal because you just kept hitting roadblocks, right? You just kept hitting roadblocks and you're just like, F this, I give up, How many times? Drop a one in the chat if that's ever happened to you. Okay. Cause I know the feeling, right? I know the feeling. One of the things that I don't think AJ talks about, but I talk about a lot, is when you truly have a goal, right? And you write it out and you really want to get in alignment with it, right? You say this goal out loud as if you've already achieved it, right? Write it out like on a business card, right? I don't just say this shit, guys. Like I actually do this stuff, right? Like I have goals on the back of a business card so that when I'm like in line at the grocery store, I can read these out. Okay. And these are written in the present tense as if I've already achieved these goals. Right. And the thing about that is if you read that to yourself over and over again, that repetition, and then like imagining that you've already achieved that, like what it would feel like and how awesome it would be. Right. And feeling like how grateful that would feel. That seeps into your subconscious mind. Okay. You are never going to achieve the goals you want in your life if you are not fully in alignment with it on a subconscious level. All right. Which is kind of what my first book, or which the first book in the series is about, Psychology Paradigm, rewiring that paradigm to achieve what you want. Now that book is all about having, reprogramming yourself to have more of a dominant masculine presence, but it works in all areas of your life, including achieving goals. Okay. Now, the funny thing about this is once you're in alignment with it, like you're going to start taking actions that will lead you down this path. You might even hit roadblocks. Those roadblocks, man, my friend Luke, my 3% brother Luke used to call it, we're past the 8-minute mark. He used to call them shit tests from the universe, right? He's like, the universe shit testing, right? So you what you got to do is trust in the process, right? Know that it's going to happen and keep pushing forward, right? Sometimes those roadblocks are there because that's not the right path for us, and what you have to do, what you have to sort of have the mindset of when you hit those roadblocks that like stop that particular goal from happening is go, okay, I don't know what's happening right now, but something better is going to happen. Like I thought this is what I wanted, but something better is going to come along. And it always does. Always. You just have to have faith, right? Red pill's not about faith, Paul. Well, this isn't about red pill. It's about mindset and frame. Anyway, that emotional durability is going to help you in that, because when you hit those roadblocks, you're going to feel deflated, like you're going to feel like, oh crap, like this is never going to happen, right? If you have those types of emotions and you can't weather that storm, you are going to fail. Right? If you start doubting and you stop believing and you start like, beating yourself up over this stuff, you are going to fail. Right? So having that emotional durability to like take a deep breath in and go, nope, things are going to work out, like trust the process, right? That requires a little bit of emotional durability. Okay. But people that can cultivate that when pursuing goals tend to achieve those goals. Yeah. All right. And having that emotional durability, it prevents distractions and setbacks from derailing progress towards the long-term goals, right? And then without that emotional durability, even a well-defined purpose can become elusive. Like I said, because a lot of that is because of doubt, fear, doubt, and lack. Right? These types of ideas that pop up into our heads, these paradigms of fear, doubt, and lack, those really hold you back in life. Those really prevent you from moving forward. You have to have, you can't have a mindset of lack. You have to have a mindset of abundance, right? You can't have fear. You have to have a mindset of faith, right? So how do we cultivate that? How do we cultivate emotional durability? We do that through discipline, right? And we talked about discipline a little bit on Wednesday, and I talk about it a lot, and it's something that the concept I learned from Jocko Willink, right? Which is, discipline's greater than motivation. But through discipline, you can cultivate these habits, right? Like one thing I do every morning is I get up and I have a journal, and I spend about 10 minutes in the morning scripting out whys, like why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? Why I'm doing a podcast, like why do I like coaching men and stuff like that, right? Like I write that out. I have a list of 100 reasons why, and I try to just fill up a whole page with why. And then I spend 10 minutes every morning writing out my future in the present tense, right? That's discipline. Like I do that every morning, whether I feel like it or not. Most mornings I don't feel like it. I just want to sit down and drink coffee and watch the sunrise on my back patio, right? But I'm like, nope, you do this every morning. This is something you do. That's discipline, right? Well, daily discipline habits strengthen emotional endurance and mental resilience, right? If you do it anyway, just doing something, even when you know that you don't want to do it, just that sense of accomplishment makes you feel good. You know what I mean? And that helps carry you forward through the rest of the day. Self-discipline ensures consistency in goal pursuit, right? If you have a daily task that you do no matter what, where you're like, I'm going to chip away at this goal little by little every day, right? I'm just going to do just like 3 things today to pursue my goal. If you just have like a small goal like that, and you just like check those things off every day. One of the things that I do, and I have part of the coaching program I'm a part of. I have one of the guys in the program, this guy named Michael Osterlink. He's a good dude. I asked him, I said, hey man, can you hold me accountable to this? And so every day, one of the things that I have to do is I have to create a TikTok video for the Dead Bedroom coaching program. I have to do that every day. Like I have to create one every day. And then I have to create what I call a value add post for Facebook. And that's where like I go into Dead Bedroom groups and I just give people value. Like, hey, here's some things to try in your relationship. Like I'm not selling anything. I'm just providing value. Like, so that's some of the things that I do on a daily basis on top of the scripting exercises. And so every day to hold me accountable. And so I stay disciplined at chipping away at that pursuit of the goal, which is, the goal is to get more clients, obviously. Right. But to chip away at that, I do these little things. Like I have to make a daily video. I have to make a daily post. I have to do this. And then anything on top of that is gravy, right? Like this podcast is gravy. I just like doing the podcast. But doing that every day and then reaching out to Michael and say, hey, man, I did X, Y, and Z today, just to hold me accountable, right? Beer Club's a great place for that. The guys that are like losing a lot of weight and doing a lot of work. Hey, David, I see you in the chat there. Haven't seen you posted in the fitness accountability group lately. Where you been, brother? But guys that are doing that, right? They're sort of holding themselves accountable by posting in the group. Those guys are seeing good results, right? because they're disciplined. They're being disciplined about it. And delayed gratification and persistence helps us sustain motivation and focus. A big problem in our culture today is that we're used to instant gratification, right? Like you want something, you just order it on Amazon, right? You get that sort of dopamine hit of buying something right then, right? Then you got to wait for it to ship, and usually it comes next day. And if you're in a big city, out here in the countryside, it still takes a week or whatever. Used to be overnight, even out here in the countryside, but ever since COVID, like they don't do that anymore. I don't know what it is. And they don't have Amazon distribution out here. So they're still relying on like FedEx and UPS and whatever. But delayed gratification, that's something that it's hard to cultivate. I was explaining this to my son, because one of the things I do for my kids is I have their names on my credit card account. And so the credit card company sends them like once a year, they send credit cards with their names on it. And I just put it in the shredder. I don't let them use it. But I have their names tied to my card so that they can, when they start off in life, they have a good credit score because I have fantastic credit. And if you guys want to know how to do that, read my first book. But I do that for my kids. And I was explaining to my son how I'm doing that for him. And he's like, what, you mean I get a credit card and you're not giving me the credit card? I'm like, dude, you couldn't handle a credit card right now. You'd be buying all sorts of stupid Roblox and, like V-Bucks and all sorts of, candy and shit. Like you wouldn't, you like you get money, it burns a hole in your pocket because you have a problem with delayed gratification. I go, you need to cultivate that where you go, I don't need candy right now. I don't need V-Bucks right now. I'd much rather have a car. Like I'd much rather save my money up to buy a car. Now we've been saving to buy a car, so that's not a problem. But you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes he's like, oh, Dad, I want a new computer. And I'm like, well, you better start saving your money, but then he just can't. He's got to have that instant gratification of like getting candy or getting V-Bucks or whatever thing. So learning how to cultivate that delayed gratification and like embracing it really helps in life too, because when you set big goals, you're not going to typically get those big goals right away. Like you're not. And so a lot of people, when they don't see instant results, they want to give up right away. Well, that big goal, it's going to take some work, right? That the gratification of achieving that goal is going to take some work, and you got to like embrace the journey there. All right, man, we got a bunch of people in the chat today. Nurse Chick's in the house. She says, good morning, gentlemen. Thank God it's Friday. Nurse Chick and I, our schedule's been messed up. Basically, since we came back from the cruise, we've had 2 weeks back to back of kids. So I've had my son here for 2 weeks, and she's been down at her house for the last 2 weeks. So she's finally coming back up here. It's been 186 years. It feels like anyway.
I'm so naughty.
I'm going to come.
Oh, I am. It's time. It's time, babe. All right. David says, edging that algorithm. I was edging hard. Ray says, good morning, everyone. Everyone in Beer Club's like, yes, Beer Club is in the house. We had our Beer Club meetup last night. Our February meetup was last night. It was pretty good. Not as big of a turnout as usual. Kind of disappointed, but a lot of the guys in the group, I guess, were really busy last night. So I picked like the worst possible day to schedule the meetup. But I made David a host, and David said that he's like willing to host some more. So that's good. So maybe we can do that. Kamal's in the house. What's he say? He says, we all want to know who the hell is Mark. What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the email. Yeah, the email list. Well, don't worry about Mark. I gotta keep my clients anonymous, so I have to change the name to protect the innocent. You know what I mean? All right. David says, dominating my challenges. All right. He sent a $10 super chat. And because of that, I'm gonna give him the bouncing boobs video for that one.
Thank you for the super chats. Boobies bouncing, can't stop that. From the east to the west, viewers, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
Yes. All right. What CW says, damn kids these days, huh, Paul? My son's like that too. God, I love my son. I was telling a client yesterday because I have a client who he hasn't been married that long. And he has one or two small children. I think he has two small babies, right? Like one's like a newborn and one's like two, right? Two small babies. So of course, life in the household is terrible. It's awful. This is awful. And and that's one of the big reasons why we're working together. But I was telling him, I was like, as the kids get older, it gets better. And I go, I love life now. I go, one, my oldest, she moved the hell out. That's great. And I go, then my son, who's he's gonna be 16 at the end of next month. I was like, he just hangs out in his bedroom all the time, leaves me the hell alone. It's wonderful. So it's a wonderful experience. He comes out every once in a while because he needs he wants to eat food or whatever. And he says, hey, what's up, bruh? And then he goes back to his bedroom and I never see him. Yeah. Life's good. Life's good when they're teenagers. Oh man, it's terrible. Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Guys, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. Do get on the email list. Kamal is talking about Mark from the emails, and then David, you son of a bitch, you say, I get it. I haven't seen the emails. Well, start checking out the emails. There's really great tips. All right. Every day is a daily tip. And we're talking about Mark's story in there and like what he's done to turn his relationship around. But you also get the ebook, She's Made You Weak. And then if you like stickers, I mail out stickers too for some of you guys. If you don't want stickers though, just put don't want stickers in the address field and I won't waste a stamp on you. One of my pet peeves are people that put fake addresses in there and then like I waste a stamp and then it comes. The worst part are you international bastards because it cost me like $1.50 to send stickers overseas, and then you guys give me some bullshit address and it comes back from India or whatever. I'm like, fuck off. Just put don't want stickers, okay? Don't put a fake address in there. I'm not trying to, show up at your fucking house or something. But yeah, get the ebook, She's Made You Weak. It talks about how the attraction erodes over time in a relationship. We're going to be talking a lot about some of that kind of stuff on Monday's episode. And then guys, do get my book. You can get all three of my books at books.comeonmanpod.com, but let me play a commercial for Psychology Paradigm, since we're talking about the essential skills of a masculine presence series, and AJ hasn't made a commercial for me to play for him. We'll play my book too. And I just found out like this music that I had here, I got it from a copyright free site. And then I found out that someone's claiming copyright on it now. So I might have to cut this might have to change this ad, but not today.
Have you ever felt like something's holding you back in your relationships? Like you're always on the back foot, struggling to connect with women? You're not alone. Many men are taught to be weak, to defer, to play small around women by their upbringing, by society, by the very world that shaped them. But what if you could break free from the invisible chains that have held you back? What if you could rewrite the script, reprogram the paradigm that's been running your life? This is your chance to step into the man you were always meant to be. In The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Psychology Paradigm by Paul Bauer, the first book in R.P. Thor's groundbreaking series, you'll learn how to understand and transform the paradigms that have shaped your life. You'll discover how to develop a dominant masculine presence, one that commands respect, inspires trust, and brings fulfillment to your relationships. Don't wait for life to change on its own. Take control. Order your copy of The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Psychology Paradigm now on Amazon. Available in hardcover, paperback, or on Kindle. This is more than a book. It's your roadmap to a life of purpose, strength, and success. Make the decision today. Reprogram your life and step into the man you were meant to be.
Yes, do that. And then when you get that book, I dropped the link in the chat for that book. Also get AJ's book while you're at it. Drop a link there since that's what we're talking about today. And we're wrapping up our series about AJ's book. Boop. All right, there we go. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is purpose-driven goal setting. So a clear vision with well-defined milestones provides a structured path to success. I did a whole episode on A type goals, B type goals, and C type goals, right? An A type goal is something where like you already know how to do it, right? Like you've done it before, you already know how to do it. And a good example of this is when people are looking at achieving goals, right? Like they're learning how to align their paradigm and their subconscious with achieving a specific goal. Sometimes they'll set goals that are A-type goals where they already know how to do it. It's like you don't have to align your mind to something you already know how to do, right? So a good example of this is when you go up and ask someone, "Hey, what do you want?" And they're like, "I want a new car," right? And you're like, "Okay, have you ever bought a car before?" And they're like, "Well, of course, I got this old piece of shit beater over here." And you're like, "Okay, well, you know how to buy a car," right? Like that's not a hard type goal, right? You just gotta like, have enough money to, buy, whatever kind of car you want to get, right? Like, you know how to get there, you know how to do that, right? Like, and then a B type goal is a goal where you have a general idea of how to do that. And so when AJ's talking about having a clear vision with well-defined milestones, that's where like you have a general idea of how to get there, but you've never really done it before. So you kind of know what milestones you need to hit to get there, right? So that's more of like a B type goal. A C type goal is a goal that is so big and you've never achieved it and you have no fucking clue how you'll even get there, right? Well, how do you get there? And how do you set up milestones for a goal like that if you don't even know how to even start or how to get there, right? Like, let's say you want to be a multimillionaire, right? How do you get there? I've never done that before. I've never, owned businesses. I've never started my own business. I don't know what to do, right? Well, those are the best type of goals. Those are my favorites, right? Because you don't need to know. You don't need to know how to get there, right? You just have to believe you'll get there. And then you have to really get your mind in alignment with the goal itself, and a way will be shown to you. It's like magic. It's like magic, but you'll just start, focusing on that every day. And we tend to get what we focus on in life. It's amazing. It's almost like magic. Breaking large goals into smaller attainable steps helps maintain momentum. Right now, the thing about C-type goals, and like when you have a large goal like that, you don't know how to get there. The cool thing is, when I say a way will be shown to you, is the way will be shown to you in the form of you just get these random ideas, right? Once your subconscious mind is in alignment with a goal, it's like a supercomputer. It just grinds away trying to figure out how to make it happen. How do I make this happen? That's why like you'll be in the shower and you'll get these epiphanies, right? Or you'll be driving in the car just zoned out and you'll get these epiphanies, right? Or like when I usually get epiphanies, it's usually when I'm out running. Like I'll be out running, listening to an audiobook, and my mind will wander. That's why you have to read books multiple times, because your mind wanders, right? Well, my mind will wander and it problem solves. Like if I have a problem at work, if I have hey, how do I make my thumbnails better? Like I just get these ideas and like they come to me at random times. It's like I didn't know how to do it before, but then I'm like, oh, right? Like, oh, maybe I should research this. Maybe I should look into, is there something that will help me in this area, right? So that will give you little ideas on what to do, which will allow you to break the larger goals into smaller attainable steps, right? And then once you start getting those ideas, you got to jump on those. You got to act on them, right? Aligning personal goals with core values enhances intrinsic motivation, right? If you're doing something because you genuinely value something, like one thing that, one of the reasons why I love this podcast, right? The reason why, like, I will do this podcast for free, and I often do, because you guys don't send super chats enough. I was talking to Glenn Lawrence last night, and we were talking about his YouTube channel, and how he was doing these like 24-hour live streams and all this kind of stuff. And he was telling me how much he was making on YouTube. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, are those all from super chats? And he's like, yeah, that's all super chat money. I was like, I need to figure out how to get my lazy ass audience to send more super chats. Cause I'm like, I'm not making that much on the Amazon, man, or not the Amazon, but but YouTube. But anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, values. So one of my values is one, I love relationships. I love healthy relationships. I love talking about this stuff. I love helping guys. Man, one of the biggest rewards is when I hear guys like DM me, right? They've been listening to the podcast for years, or they follow like my TikToks and whatever, and they're like, man, your videos have like changed my marriage, right? Your videos have like helped me with dating. Like your videos have done, like, that is a value of mine. Like, it's really what I want to do. Like I'm passionate about helping men, right? Helping men figure this shit out and avoid the mistakes that I made, in the past, right? That's a value of mine. And so because I'm so passionate about it, having goals and working towards those goals makes things easy, right? It's effortless. It's not like work for me, right? All right. The role of resilience. And that's why I can joke about not getting enough super chats. Because I'm still going to do the show, even if you bastards are being cheap. Okay. Like, I'm still going to do the show. Like, it's still going to come out. All right. The role of resilience in overcoming obstacles. Resilience transforms challenges into opportunities for growth and self-improvement. And then emotionally durable individuals don't view setbacks as failures, but as learning experiences, which is something that I try to teach in my book. AJ's clearly trying to teach it in his book. That's a growth mindset type thing, right? When you look at a setback or a failure, not as a failure, but as a learning opportunity, right? Like I'm learning what not to do. Okay. Well, that will help you push through some of these setbacks if you change your mindset about certain things, instead of looking at everything like, the world's fucking ending, right? Like, look at it like, oh, okay, well, I guess we won't do it that way. Right. All right, guys. Hey, get in Beer Club. We just had our meetup last night. Good group of guys. The real values in the Telegram community, very active Telegram community in there. Lately we've had one of our brothers has just been like knocking it out of the park with dating. Now he's got himself an exclusive girlfriend. That's a fun experience to watch, because we watched him go through the whole dating circuit and flounder around and like swap notes about that. And now he's trying to, this girl wanted to lock him down. And so that's just it's a fun thing to watch. And when you watch it enough, it's like fucking clockwork, right? When guys when it clicks with them, the dating experience clicks with them, they learn how to have an abundance mindset with women. They don't get hung up on one woman at a time, although this guy's still needs to work on that. But they learn how to spin plates, right? They learn how to spin plates and just keep pushing forward, and then wait until women lock them down. You find that the cream rises to the top, and the women like will try to lock you down by the 7th or 8th date on average, right? And it's like clockwork. It's like you see it like play out so many times. It's like, it's not even it's like some people think that love is this mysterious, random, mystical thing. It's fucking not. It's like a science, and you can like predict things, right, based on human nature. And but if she likes you, she's going to start wanting to see you more and more, right? And then by the 7th or 8th date on average, she's going to be like, I want to be exclusive, And if you want to be exclusive, awesome. If you don't, well, now it's time to be okay with letting her go, right? Because you got to put the ball in her court and say, well, I kind of like the way things are, right? And then you got to be okay with her not being okay with that and walking away. A lot of guys can't mentally do that because they're like, oh, I don't want to lose her though, right? So then they get into relationships that they should never be in the first fucking place. Anyway, you see it play out all the time. It's like I said, like clockwork. It's funny to watch. Anyway, guys are doing that in Beer Club. Guys are getting in shape in Beer Club. Guys are, swapping memes in there. It's just a great place to go. There's some guys in there that they're on like TRT. And so we swap notes about, TRT treatments and boosting testosterone levels and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's a free for all of value where guys just get together and talk about guy shit. Right. Check that out. And then guys, if you want to work with me one-on-one, maybe your relationship has not been the way it should be. You've been married, 5, 10, 15 years. The spark is completely gone. When your wife puts out, if she puts out, she lays there like a starfish. and you think that's normal, right? But deep down, you know it's not. Okay. Let's turn that around. All right. If that's you and you're getting really frustrated by things and you're even thinking like, hey, I think I might want to divorce her, just know that if you don't work on what got you there in the first place, where she doesn't want to fuck you anymore, that's going to happen in your next relationship if you don't start working on this stuff now. Okay. So if that's you, let's try to turn that around. Let's try to turn that around so you don't have to start from zero and then repeat the whole process and get there again in another 10, 15 years. All right. Let's fix it now. Go to call.fixdeadbedrooms.com and book a free call with me. Okay. All right. Oh, do like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I clicked the wrong thing, but do that anyway. If you haven't, smashing like is alpha. Stream elements. That's true. That is very true. Stream elements. Oh shit. Ryan Stone. That son of a bitch. Oh man. Look at this guy. It does. Look at this. $5 Canadian for the mug. Thanks, man. Yes, coffee does taste better in this mug. Everybody needs to go get a Ryan Stone mug while you're at it. Oh, and then get his book, Dog Walker. That is getting rave reviews, I hear. I have yet to read it yet. I'm still going through that bastard Aaron Clary's book, Zero World Problems. And like so far I found 4 things I fucking hate about Aaron Clary's new book. So I'm going to do a special live stream on 5 things I hate about Aaron's book. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a special unannounced live stream. And then Ryan, I'm going to give you this one. Here we go.
I'm just going to say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
Yeah, he definitely fucks. Good seeing you, Ryan. All right, where are we at here? Oh yeah, we talked about beer. Okay. Maintaining focus amid distractions. I have a hard time with this. I am a procrastinator. If there's something I do not want to do, I'm like, can I push this off? I put everything, I live and die by a calendar, right? I have like an Outlook calendar. It syncs with my phone to my computer. So I know what I'm supposed to do on a daily basis, and tasks that I need to do, I'll put it on the calendar. So I know it needs to be done. But if there's a task I just don't fucking want to do, like some kind of spreadsheet bullshit nonsense, I'm like, does that have to be done today? And I'll move it to the next day, right? I'm like, oh, what's my schedule look like on Thursday? Let me put it over there, right? I will eventually get it done. You know, it's usually like a deadline thing where I'm like, fuck, we're at the deadline. I got to do this now. But it's really easy for me to like postpone stuff like that and then get distracted by other shit, right? Like get distracted by, social media. Social media is such a time suck, man, especially when you are, you're a podcaster and you're posting social media shit out there and you want to reply to people's comments and stay engaged with the audience. That can take up a whole fucking day of just doing that sometimes, because sometimes people will, like right now, I'm going to be hosting Rule Zero on Saturday. We're going to be talking about like Taylor Swift, just because she's an easy target. Anyway, I posted a video on Instagram that's got like almost 300,000 views now. And it just says that Taylor Swift has 600 songs about men leaving her and 0 songs about blowjobs, right? Well, there's just comments galore because it's going viral, right? So it's like, I can't keep up with all those comments, but it's easy to get distracted with that kind of stuff. AJ talks about avoiding instant gratification because it ensures long-term commitment to meaningful goals. All right, we talked about that a little bit. Reducing exposure to distractions like social media or negative influences enhances clarity. The social media is hard, but I've cut out a lot of negative influences like years ago. The fucking news is toxic as shit, right? Like you don't need it. And we were talking about this in Beer Club actually, because I was saying like the news is nothing but propaganda and fear mongering. Like just cut it out of your life. There's nothing good comes out of the news. And one of the guys was saying how there was a study done talking about how the way the news works is they want to tell stories to keep you in a perpetual state of like anger and fear, because the anger and fear keeps you coming back, right? So they'll go to a commercial break with something that like it sounds really scary. And then when you go to commercial break, you're like, oh crap, what happened? Like how many people died in that accident, right? But the news only tends to report bad news to keep people thinking about like all this kind of crap is bad in the world and stuff. And there are bad things happening in the world. Like let's be real. But how much of that bad shit in the world impacts your day to day? Probably 0% of it, right? Like when I cut out news, man, so much happier. So much happier. And it's not a distraction anymore. I'm not always trying to keep up like, well, what's this politician saying today? Like, I don't give a fuck, right? I don't care. So that's a big distraction. A lot of people spend their whole lives just, watching politics like football. Football's another fucking distraction. Pro wrestling's not though. Okay. That's a real sport. All right. That's a real sport. Let's just get that. Let's just put that out there. Establishing structured routines helps maintain focus on priorities. That structured routines, that goes back to discipline, right? If you set a plan for yourself and you do it no matter what, that requires discipline to do. But the structured routines and having discipline to do that will keep you moving forward, right? Towards your goals, towards your purpose. The power of a strong support network. Surrounding yourself with like-minded, goal-oriented individuals reinforces resilience. Okay. And I love AJ giving a shout out to Beer Club in his book, because he talks about that a lot, right? Joining a group like Beer Club will help give you that support network, right? He also talks about Thor's Dragons membership and MLD's what is it? Men's something network. What is it? I can't remember what it is, but MLD's men's program is also a good support network for achieving goals and stuff like that. Mentors, peers, and friends provide accountability and motivation. Just make sure they're the right friends, right? Like, have you ever heard the expression that you're the product of your 5 closest friends? Like, if all of your 5 closest friends are fucking losers and they're not moving forward in life the way you want to move forward, it's time to find new friends, right? It's time to find new friends. A support system helps process emotional struggles and maintain perspective. That's one of the things I like about Beer Club, and one of the things I sort of tell guys about Beer Club, right? Like your girl is not there for your problems, and she doesn't care about your problems, right? But having a good support system of guys, they will help you through your problems, right? Men are problem solvers. Women are problem causers, right? So having a good support network is good for stuff like that. Integrating purpose into daily actions. This sort of goes hand in hand with what we were talking about before, right? But if you can create daily habits, daily goals that, like I said before, when you have really big goals, you don't know how you're going to achieve them. You're going to get ideas. Add those to your list of things to do on a daily basis. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to post 1 to 3 social media videos every day. That's one thing I can do every day to move forward with my goal. And then when you find something better that you should be doing, you'll get an idea for that. And then you can move towards that better thing, right? But at least that you're chipping away at your goal little by little every day. So if you do that, create little things that you can work on every day, that'll help drive your purpose. It'll at least make you feel like you're accomplishing something to achieve that goal, right? Leadership through emotional durability. Emotionally strong men naturally inspire trust and respect from others. We've been talking about that for the last several weeks. Leadership requires the ability to stay calm and focused during adversity. I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. Think about it. If you are at work and some kind of crisis happens, let's say you're in IT and all the server, a whole server rack goes down, power issue, whatever. I don't know. One time, a company I worked for, we had the data center, they had a cooling problem, their air conditioners all crapped out, right? And so everybody, just thousands of systems engineers, just swarmed the building, trying to bring in fans and stuff to try to keep their servers cool. Servers were crashing, motherboards were melting. It was fucking crazy. It was bad. Anyway, like our whole server rack went down that day. That's a fucking crisis, right? Well, if my boss at the time was like freaking out and like setting his hair on fire and running around screaming and like, breathing into a fucking bag, like, do you think I would want to work for that guy? No, like a guy who's calm and under pressure and can clearly think and direct, right? Like that's a guy that you'll get behind. That's a sign of a good leader, right? Leadership kind of requires that. And if you can't do that, you're not going to be in a leadership position very long. Like, let's just say that. Building a legacy through resilience and purpose. The long-term impact is created by consistently living out one's values and mission. Demonstrating resilience inspires future generations to develop their own emotional strength. One of the things that I point out to my clients, my guys that are working on relationship stuff, is how the impact on their children. When they learn how to have better mental frame, how to handle situations with their wife better, how to set the tone and lead in their relationship better, right? Their kids see this dynamic, and then they sort of learn what a healthy relationship looks like, right? If you have a daughter, she sees how a man's supposed to act in a relationship, right? If you have a son, he learns how he's supposed to lead a relationship, right? And that impacts future generations. It's a good skill to learn. It's important. I was, and this also sort of just came to mind. Paul Benjamin, right? Apex Mindset. He had a great video yesterday I was watching, and he was breaking down. There was a radio show. I don't know if it was a radio show or a podcast. It was a call-in show. And this lady was calling in talking about how her husband would have these like emotional temper tantrums and was acting like a toddler throwing a fit, right? And she was like, I don't know how to navigate this sort of thing. And so Paul broke down how like, yeah, a lot of you guys out there have shitty fucking attitudes and you guys throw little fits and you call it communication. He didn't say that, but like, it made me think of that. Like you guys call that communication, right? Like communication is just yelling at your wife long enough and hoping that she hears what you're saying. Like she's not even listening at that point, right? Well, that's people who do that kind of stuff have no emotional durability. They can't regulate themselves emotionally. We talk about how we're supposed to be like these rational men, like we think logically and all this kind of stuff. Most of you guys don't. Most of you guys react from emotion, and that emotion's default is usually anger in some way. And you get pissed off super easily, and you like lay into chicks and whatever. It's like, you need to learn how to control that if you're going to have healthy relationships, right? And it'll also help you in achieving your goals in life, right? And like we were saying in the beginning, when you have those setbacks and you get pissed off and you start breaking shit and you start throwing tantrums and stuff like that, that's not going to help you move forward with your goal. Okay. So it's much better to have a little bit of emotional durability or, emotional resilience to look at that and go, what can I learn from this? You know what I mean? You'll get much farther. A legacy is not built on achievements alone, but on the principles and character one upholds. And then the last concept here is continuous growth and adaptation, right? Emotional durability is not static, requires ongoing self-improvement and reflection. It's like what I talk about a lot, right? Like the work never stops. You always have to be working on this kind of stuff. I invite people to read Psychology Paradigm, my book, 10 to 15 times, like to really have that seep into your subconscious and make it a part of who you are. Like listen to it multiple times. And then after that, it's still good. It's still good to find like your core books that are supporting you, that you're learning from, that that are life-changing, that you're able to apply and fix things in your life, and revisit those like once a year, right? My holy trinity of dating books. I'm in a committed relationship, with Nurse Chick. We've been going strong for several years now. I still read the dating books, because the part of the thing about the dating books is when you're out dating, that's like the most attractive you typically are, right? Because you're out there trying to attract new women. Well, if you can apply that type of attractive characteristics in your long-term relationship, that relationships, your wife's going to stay, or your girlfriend's going to stay attracted to you longer. You know what I mean? In theory. You have the best chance. Let's just say that you have the best chance, right? Regular reassessment of goals ensures alignment with evolving values and circumstances. That's an important thing too, man. Like, I think I've told a story before of how, like, I had a goal one time of like being on Fresh and Fit, right? I was like, oh yeah, one day I'm going to be on Fresh and Fit, and you know, that'll be good. And then I realized, you know, their message doesn't really align with my message. I don't think that's a good goal to have, you know? So I took it off my goal board. I have a board over here with goals that I want to achieve and stuff like that. I've refined my goals to like 3 basic goals, like immediate goals, that if like when these happen, everything else is going to fall into place, right? I've like narrowed it down, like these 3 things, these 3 things right here. And so like I've erased like all the other stuff I had on there, and I just have it set to those 3 goals. My goal card in my pocket, you know, the goal card I keep right here, like taped to my monitor, like 3 things. And then in the morning when I write out, like, you know, my scripting exercise, it's those 3 just repeated, just right. But I like to reassess those goals periodically. Like, is this really in alignment with what I want? Like, why do I want this still? You know, do it. Like sometimes you'll find that a goal that you thought you wanted isn't really in your best interest, right? So you got to change those periodically. And adaptability ensures long-term success without compromising core values. All right, guys, that's AJ's book, man. We spent the last 10 weeks going through this. If you found value in these Friday episodes, that's what we've been going over every week for the last 10 weeks. AJ put a lot of work into this book. AJ doesn't stream, you know, he stopped being on the Dragon ship. He sort of took a step back from the manosphere, working on his own stuff, just focusing on himself. So he has no way of like getting the word out about this. So this is literally, these episodes are the only episodes that are promoting this book. So hopefully you guys found value in that, and you guys throw him a bone and actually go pick up a copy of his book. It's available on Kindle edition and paperback. Okay. I'll drop a link to his book here in the chat too. What is AJ's profession? YouTube. No, AJ's actually a data center engineer. Yeah. But he's done a lot. Like, out of all the guys in the space, like, AJ's authentic, you know, he's not trying to be, you know, a professional podcaster. He's not trying to be a men's coach. He is a guy who had to work on himself. He went through like a really nasty divorce. He had like a true, you know, narcissistic BPD, you know, whatever type relationship that he had to like overcome. He had to overcome like cheating and all that, self-doubt and confidence issues. And he's been through a lot of coaching programs. He's done a lot of work under MLD. MLD is one of his coaches. He's done a lot of work with Thor. That's how he and I met, because Thor brought him onto the Dragon ship. And so all the stuff that AJ talks about in his book, like, he's lived it, right? Like, he's got that kind of experience that he's had to learn along the way, and he's just trying to pay it forward with this book, right? But yeah, AJ doesn't have any way of promoting this himself. You know, that's not what he does, right? He's not like me, where I'm like, you know, I haven't written as many books as that bastard Ryan Stone, but I've got 3, you know. I do remember when Ryan came out with Dread, he said he's you know, he can officially call himself an author because he's got 3 books. So apparently I'm an author now, but but he doesn't have a platform like this, right? So I try to help him out and help him promote his book a little bit. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and you guys get some value out of it, and you guys get his book. I dropped the link there in the chat. All right. Guys, remember, smashing like is alpha. It is an alpha move. Hit that like button. Tune into Rule Zero tomorrow, guys. I'm hosting my Saturday morning coaching clients finished the program. So I'm actually free again Saturday mornings. And so I can actually do more Rule Zeros. So I'm hosting tomorrow. We're going to be talking about why modern women can't keep a man, right? They can get a man, but they can't seem to keep a man, which is interesting because a lot of us guys, we're always worried about keeping girls, right? Like, I don't want to screw things up with her. And I don't want to mess things up. And so we're always trying to like keep women. Well, one thing I learned from Ryan Stone is that keeping the relationship going is her job, right? Like if she wants to keep you, she knows how to do it. But it makes me wonder why chicks like Taylor Swift can't keep a man. Like if they inherently know how to do it, why the fuck can't they? Right. So the funny thing, so what I say that too, right? Like when, and I think even when Ryan says that, it's because of Breitbart's law, it's her job to keep you, right? It's not your job. Your job is to be a man worth keeping though. Okay. And it's almost a harder job. Woman's job's easy, right? Belly full, balls empty. It's pretty fucking simple. Throw a blowjob in there every now and then, and the guy will be content, right? But and don't be a nagging bitch, right? Don't be a nagging harpy. It's pretty fucking easy, right? But guys, like we have a burden of performance, right? Like we have to go to the gym. We have to work on our emotional control. We have to work on our, mindset. We have to work on our money. We got to be able to provide and all that kind of shit. Like we have a lot of shit to work on, right? Money, muscles, game and frame. Shout out to MLD. We got to work on all that kind of stuff. Women just have to look hot and give us some blowjobs every now and then. It's not that fucking hard. So why can't they keep a man? We'll be talking about that on Rule Zero tomorrow. Tune into Dragon Ship right after that. I believe HUDs is hosting, and I think we're going to be revisiting the joke about the man store, right? If you guys ever hear the man store where every level, like the men get better and better, and the women are like, oh, I'm going to go up another level, and they finally go to the top floor, and there's nothing up there, and that's just to prove that women are never happy, right? We're going to be talking about that on Dragon Ship, I think, right after Rule Zero. Tune into the podcast Monday. We're going to be talking about all the reasons why your girl is no longer attracted to you and what you can do about that. So that should be a fun episode. All right. Yes, MLD is the guy in Japan. That is true. That is him. That is he. Let's see here. What's this? Ryan just started streaming, assuming common audience. It is not very wise, I assume. I don't really care. I think Glenn Lawrence has a thing in the morning. That's what replays are for, like if you guys want to tune in live for me, awesome. If you guys want to tune in live for Ryan and then tune in to me later, like awesome. I don't fucking care. Just make sure you tune in. Okay. And smash that like button. All right, guys. Like, subscribe, hit those notifications. And I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. Thanks for everyone that sounded off in the live chat. I appreciate you. Thanks for the super chats, guys. I appreciate that. That supports the show probably more than anything else. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Get on the email list. Learn about Mark's story, Mark, and how he's turning his relationship around. It's actually a pretty good story. It's a daily story. So keep tuning into that. And then also get the ebook, She's Made You Weak. That explains typically why attraction erodes over time. And it's women's fault. Okay. It's women's fault. Get all my books at books.comeonmanpod.com. The latest one, Get Her to Fuck You Again. It's actually really popular. It's I'm selling a lot of audiobooks of that one. Like it's blowing my mind, like how many people are getting the audiobook of that. It's if you go to books.comeonmanpod.com, they'll take you to my Amazon authors page. You can find it in all the different formats, including the audio version. Get in Beer Club, beer.comeonmanpod.com, and level up with all the boys in there. I'm in there all the time too. Like you have direct access to me in Beer Club. Okay. And then guys, if you want to work with me one-on-one and fix your dead bedroom situation or fix your marriage, book a free call with me. Go to call.fixdeadbedrooms.com. That's all we got. We'll see you tomorrow on Rule Zero.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.